cover 19 counties in northeast and central Pennsylvania. This is WBRE Eyewitness News at 6.
Absolutely never took a dime to send a kid anywhere. If that was the case, that would have been in this trial. You don't think the government would have put me on trial for that if that was the case? Never happened. Never, ever happened.
Former Judge Mark Ciaverella has been found guilty on the most serious charges against him in federal court.
After 2 days of deliberations, the jury returned their verdict late this afternoon. It is our lead story in Eyewitness News at 6. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Drew Spire.
And I'm Candace Kelly. He was found guilty on racketeering and wire fraud. Now, those are the most serious of the 39 charges against Mark Ciaverella in his federal corruption trial. 12
guilty verdicts, 27 not guilty, and now Ciaverella faces a maximum sentence of 157 years. We have team coverage of the verdict with the I-Team's Andy Mahalchik and Joe Holden at federal court, and our Eric Dable is at the Luzerne County Courthouse. We begin our coverage tonight with Andy. Andy, good evening.
Well, Drew and Candace, this trial was 2 years in the making. For many parents, the conviction of Mark Ciaverella was too long in coming. As for Ciaverella, he still insists he did nothing wrong. Former Luzerne County Judge Mark Ciaverella, now convicted felon corrupt Judge Mark Ciaverella, comes out of federal court in Scranton late Friday afternoon. A jury found him guilty of 12 of the 39 counts, including the most serious charges: racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy, and tax evasion. But he was found not guilty of extortion. The jury apparently did not believe he took kickback cash from attorney Bob Powell, the co-owner of the PA Child Care Center, the heart of the Kids for Cash scandal. Ciaverella, in the midst of a mob scene, denied any Kids for Cash scheme.
Absolutely never took a dime to send a kid anywhere. If that was the case, that would have been in this trial. You don't think the government would have put me on trial for that if that was the case? Never happened. Never, ever happened. This case was about extortions and kickbacks. That's what this case was about, not about Kids for Cash. Because if it was, they'd have had that on trial.
Mark, you were convicted of racketeering and serious charges. What do you have to say about that? But parents of children sent away by Ciaverella for apparently no good reason say he is in denial.
I think that Mark Ciaverella is in denial. I think that he's always been a very egotistical man. I know that Attorney Flora is being paid to do his job as a criminal attorney, but he absolutely was involved for Kids for Cash. And I think that the sad part of this whole trial was that I respect the IRS, but that wasn't the main point. It should have been focused on the children.
I was hoping to get sent away on guilty on all 39 counts, but there was only 12, and now he's appealing it. The kids never got to appeal anything. They were sent away in a heartbeat, blink of an eye. So I'm very distraught about that.
And lots of emotion, lots of intensity without a doubt, and very much two different perspectives, Joe Holden, from the lawyers in both sides of the case. Some of us are thinking, did they see the same trial?
Absolutely right. It was a remarkable day because on one battleground out here you had opinions that very variously clashed with the opinions on the inside when we spoke to the U.S. Attorney. They say this is anything but a victory for the defendant Mark Ciaverella.
Attorney Al Flores said his client Mark Ciaverella pulls out a victory.
The government really got hurt today on this entire case, and it stands for the proposition that what Mark Ciaverella said all along was true. He never took a kickback, he never took a bribe, and he never extorted Robert Powell.
But did they? U.S. Attorney Peter Smith was somewhat surprised at that statement.
I find it interesting that a man just convicted of racketeering is claiming any sort of a victory out there today. I wonder what he would consider a defeat.
In poking holes through the several years of accusations pelted at Ciaverella, Flora made a point that turned a news conference into chaos.
This is not a cash for kids case, and we hope somebody starts getting the message.
He's not here anymore. Ma'am. My kid's not here. He's dead because of him. He ruined my life. I'd like him to go to hell and rot there forever.
Ma'am, come on.
No, you know what he told everybody in court? They need to be held accountable for their actions. You need to be. Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember my son, an all-star wrestler? He's gone. He shot himself in the heart. You scumbag.
U.S. Marshals removed the unidentified woman who claimed her son committed suicide some point after he went before Ciaverella when he was a juvenile court judge. At a more routine news conference, for the first time, the feds identified the root of a several years-long corruption investigation. William Big Billy D'Elia, the reputed Pittston mob boss.
6 or 7 of D'Elia's lieutenants were prosecuted. Ultimately, D'Elia was prosecuted. D'Elia led us to Judge Conahan, given his relationships with him, and then from there, it began, as we began to focus on them, the whole financial dealings between Judge Conahan, Judge Ciaverella, Miracle, Powell, all of that began to come out.
And right there we see the route identified by U.S. attorneys as Big Billy D'Elia, 2007, when he was busted and sent to jail. Obviously, he turned over a wealth of information to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that began the money trail in all of this.
And again, we have to point out, this corruption investigation is ongoing. 31 people nabbed so far, Joe. We've been covering it for 4 years, and it's not over yet. This was the main marquee trial at this point, but it's still ongoing. Okay, Joe Holden, thank you very much. Also, of course, reaction to this conviction being heard from all around the nation. It captured the attention of the nation, this Kids for Cash scandal. My colleague Eric Dable live at Luzerne County Courthouse. And Eric, what are they saying there today?
Andy, people all across the region, but especially, as you say, here in Luzerne County, they've been following this 2-week trial since it started. As the verdict came down this afternoon, many of them were glued to their TVs just to find out what happened. With this investigation beginning years ago, many people here in Luzerne County, and especially here at the Luzerne County Courthouse, now just hope they're able to move on.
Mark, say something.
At the same exact time that former Luzerne County Judge Mark Ciaverella walked out of federal court in Scranton Friday, people in Luzerne County reacted to his conviction.
I'm relieved. I just want to see the man go to jail for what he's done to those children and to those families. I don't want to see him get a slap on the wrist.
What these judges did to these 2 young children traumatized them and destroyed their lives, and there's no price for that. That's beyond priceless.
I'm going to...
The Luzerne County Courthouse itself was rather empty. Most officials left early, but current Prothonotary Carolee Medico-Olajinsky had strong reactions to the jury's verdict.
I feel that the prosecution totally blew the case. I mean, we're looking at some really serious charges, some children who were brutally harmed.
As Mark Ciaverella now awaits his punishment, Luzerne County continues to try and move forward and heal.
There really are no winners. I mean, there's losers all around. I mean, it's his family, the judge, the children, everybody. This whole situation has been a sad situation for this area.
If they did the bad deeds, they should be punished. Absolutely. I mean, you know, if I did it, I would be punished. So they're no different than I am.
Now, as we've been saying since this trial began, it's being watched both statewide as well as nationwide. In Harrisburg, in the state capital, there is now a stronger push, a renewed push for juvenile protective laws based on this entire situation involving former Luzerne County Judge Mark Ciaverella. Of course, we'll have much more on today's guilty verdicts from the courthouse tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. For now, live at the Luzerne County Courthouse, for Andy Mahalchik and Joe Holden, I'm Eric Dable, Eyewitness News.
Okay, Eric, thank you. The weekend is here, and time now to take a first look at our forecast. Josh is on the rooftop where things are about to change, right, Josh?
That's right, Drew. It is still mild, but it is awfully windy. However, when we start to talk about this time tomorrow, much colder. Live eye Doppler radar, it's a quick stop. It's dry, maybe a sprinkle, but that's it. Weather bug, we're still talking numbers in the 50s to near 60. 60 in Scranton and Pottsville. It is 52 in LaPorte. And now it's down to 49 in Troy. Your AccuWeather forecast tonight, let's call it partly cloudy and colder and windy. Lows tonight will be a few ticks either side of the freezing mark. Drew, the wind sticks around tomorrow and more winter weather. I'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
There's a developing story out of Monroe County tonight. A death investigation is underway in Stroudsburg. One person was found dead inside a home on Broad Street. Police are on the scene, and we'll have more on this story as information becomes available to us tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. The State Attorney General's public corruption has filed felony charges against a Pottsville woman. The AG's office charged Lynn Bressie with stealing $6,000 in taxpayers' money. Now, according to the Attorney General, Bressie used a systematic scheme to submit bills for custody conferences that did not occur. Bressie will have a hearing on the charges next week.
The family of a former Berwick student says bullying led to her death. Her family said she recently transferred to the Line Mountain School District and took her own life earlier this week. Friends and family say posts on the girl's Facebook page suggested she had long been a victim of bullying even after her passing. State police tell us they're looking over the girl's computer and are aware of the online activity. Their investigation remains open.
Eyewitness News was there today as Kingston Township Police helped capture a man driving a stolen vehicle. Let's listen in.
Why, what were you running from? Stolen car. You stole the car?
Yeah. Police started chasing the vehicle from Tunkhannock. At times, the speed reached over 105 miles per hour. It ended when Kingston Township Police used stop sticks to slow the vehicle.
Tunkhannock Borough Police Department was in pursuit of a stolen vehicle. Back mountain units were deployed. They began to pursue the vehicle in Dallas Township. Once they entered the Shavertown area, I observed the vehicle coming, deployed the spike strips across the roadway, at which time the vehicle ran over the spike strips, and within a half mile the front tires were flat on it.
The driver was taken into custody.
Pennsylvania State Police were out on area roadways putting the brakes on motorists who fail to need the speed. It's President's Day weekend and many people are hitting the road for a very long weekend, and the State Police Enforcement Unit was along Interstate 81 in Luzerne County this morning. They were keeping an eye out for speeders and other traffic violators.
It's the end of an era for the Ashley Post Office. The U.S. Postal Service announced that the post office will close its doors for good on March 18th. The post office not only serves the people out of Ashley, but nearby communities as well. Many people we talk with are upset about the decision to close that branch.
I think it's sad. I really do. I drive, but there's so many senior citizens from here that live in West Ashley, and they don't drive. They walk up to the post office.
There's a friendship that you develop over a period of time, and we're going to miss that. We really are.
When the Ashley Post Office closes on March 18th, people are being encouraged to use the post offices in either Wilkes-Barre, Mountaintop, or Plains Township.
Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6. Ice is quite nice, so nice. There are 2 festivals celebrating it this weekend. We'll tell you about both next.
And it's maple syrup time in one part of the Poconos. We'll tell you where the sap is being tapped after the break.
You're watching WBRE Eyewitness News with Candace Kelly. Drew Spire, lead I-Team investigator Andy Mahalchik, meteorologist Josh Hodel, and Phil Shaner Sports. This is WBRE Eyewitness News at 6.